Everyone, I hope you're all really well and welcome to another paint and chat of this painting. This is indeed the same painting I was working on in my last video. Of course, it has progressed and looks infinitely less terrible, I hope, than the last video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, if you're new. And thank you so much for your wonderful comments on my last video. And many of you said you really liked this sort of informal chat and paint, so I thought I would continue. I'm going to do some sort of painting demo. I haven't exactly finished because it's still sort of ongoing. This is the reason why I didn't upload on Saturday as I normally do, because it actually was still looking pretty rough. And so it still isn't anywhere near where I want it to be, but I think I'm just going to continue in this kind of mid-stage and see how far I get. Also, I thought I'd update you with what I've been doing, which is basically working on this. And I have actually seen some quite interesting movies whilst I've been painting. So I thought I'd chat about that as well. I've laid out some colours on my... I don't think these are going to be enough, but I think they're okay to start with. I'll just show you a little bit of my palette at the moment. I'm trying to work on the sky right now. It's not exactly how I want it. I wanted it to be a really nice orangey sunset, and it's sort of more pink and blue at the moment. You're having a wonderful week painting or whatever you're doing. I have been, whilst I was painting on this, I have been managing to catch up with some really interesting old movies. I've sort of been in the frame of mind of trying to watch a lot of classic films. I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, I imagine I probably have, but I always try and watch a movie that is perhaps a little bit more either obscure or really well known, that is super famous but that I haven't seen, because believe it or not, I feel like it's not just me, it's like everyone has heard of these like classic films and never seen them, and so I'm actually going to make sure that I watch them. And I do tend to watch whilst I paint, or I like have it on in the background, out, and then I'm painting at the same time. I don't know if this is the best way to watch a movie, obviously, because I do miss some like key facial expressions of what's going on. And so I did end up catching this really interesting movie that I would never ever in a million years pick, because it was a courtroom drama. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, courtroom drama is like, I would do the noise, but like, you know, a cure for insomnia. At least the ones that I've seen in the past. So I always kind of go out of my way to avoid them. But I remember reading this article about how if you do a lot of things that are different and not in your comfort zone, then it actually expands your mind. So I thought, okay, this time I'm actually going to force myself to watch this movie. And it was, in fact, Anatomy of a Murder. Now, it has several different titles. Some say it was The Anatomy of the Murderer, I believe. Something. Incidentally, I found the movie was absolutely amazing. Even though it's super long, I found myself to be totally gripped by all the characters. And what was so interesting about it was that every character in the film, and this doesn't give anything away, but every character is complex and not good or evil, but has various different aspects to their personality. And it's not one of those films where you could say there's like a genuine hero and a genuine villain. Even the people in the film that you think are supposed to be really good, there's kind of a question mark over all of them. So I think that added a lot to the suspense. Another movie that I'd seen just before that one was Night of the Hunter, which is definitely a classic. A lot of people in the US have seen this film because I feel like it's a proper American classic, but I don't think that as many people in the UK have seen it, because I feel it's just a little bit less well known. And although a lot of us over in the UK watch tons of Hollywood films, I feel like it's one of the ones that sometimes gets missed out on those sort of classics lists, but it should always be on there because it is such a brilliant film. In fact, it's one of the best films I think I've seen in ages, possibly even in a year. I just thought it was so incredible, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely give it a watch, because it's again another movie that I completely dismissed for quite some time, because I thought, oh, you know, it's I don't know what it's about. I remember reading the, so I do tend to, despite the fact that I watching something that might be quite dark or something that is completely irrelevant to what I'm painting, I do tend to kind of concentrate quite a lot when I'm watching, because somehow it just takes over really the painting. So it's not that I'm totally distracted, which is kind of an odd thing really, but there you go. I'm sure you can relate to somebody who paints and listens to music, or somehow or listens to a movie, somehow the experience, whilst you're paying attention to it, it sort of floats in the background in a way, even if you are gripped by it. And so I'm just kind of trying to make the clouds look, sometimes you get some amazing cloud formations at this time, and when you sometimes see the clouds move, and at night there have been some amazing full moons recently.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone.
And 3/4 moons. So really nice to look at the sky recently, and I'm just trying to make this again like there's some movement involved, but I don't want to paint over it too much. If I get a really great colour in the sky, such as here, I've managed to get this kind of like, I don't know if you can see, but this sort of greenish, really, really nice. It's almost a pale green, pale greeny blue, a little bit like teal. And when I ever manage to make colours like that, I just leave them, and as I'm painting over everything else, I will try to leave that colour so that it can sort of show through.
Show me.
And I always feel like that works quite nicely. It can be so easy to accidentally overpaint those things, and in order to make sure that it all blends together nicely, I'm just adding a little bit more medium, just to make sure that it doesn't look too kind of separate in terms of the colours. But again, because of this type of painting, it's not, I wouldn't say it's not too precise in terms of the actual lines. So if there is some movement there, and if there is brush strokes and thicker paint, I actually do like that, and I do want it to look that way, just to evoke the feeling and the mood of the painting. So for me at this point, it doesn't matter, I actually enjoy that. But obviously there are some people who don't like it at all, in which case you can get one of those fluffy brushes and just take out all the brush strokes with a little swipe. Especially, I do find that in seascapes with ships and moving water and moving, rather just listen to yourself, and that's the best thing. So I am painting on linen, I should have mentioned that before, and I didn't mention it in the previous video obviously, but just in case you can't be bothered to watch the previous video, I totally understand. And just kind of making sure that I fill in all the gaps. I will have to go back.
Get back to where you
that all the gaps are gone, but I'm not going to be too worried. Sometimes if you allow a little bit of a gap to show through, it does actually look really nice. And this type of surface really suits my painting style, because it has a very painterly effect at the end. So when you look at it, it doesn't have those very perfect lines that you can sometimes get if you paint on different smoother surfaces. It really does genuinely look like a painting, and so that's the type of effect that really suits my style. It doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone. It's sort of a more traditional way of painting, and again, it's not necessarily a technique or style that is modern, that people are using tons now, but it certainly works for my style, because I do tend to dip in and out of sort of more traditional painting, and I tend to be influenced a lot more by classical work, so it makes sense that I would gravitate more to this type of a surface. But of course, it's to be experimented with, because when you're choosing your surface, it's very important to take a look at all of them, much like I did, and you find advantages and disadvantages with them all, really. So it all depends on what kind of mood you're in, what type of painting do you like to create. So I do hope you enjoyed this painting demo. I certainly enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I said that before. Thank you so much for watching. Again, apologies if the video was late. it will look terrible on Saturday, and so I thought if I upload a video now, people would just be like, well, it looks the same as last week, so why are you uploading an identical video? So I thought I'd wait until it had progressed to a slightly more bearable level. So thank you so much for watching once again. Don't forget to comment below if you enjoyed this
Thank
video.
you for watching. I'm singing this song because it's copyright free.
Take care.